Hi, Rod Fleming in the Philippines here. I hope you're all well again. Before we go any further, please remember we do need your money, so please go onto one of the sub-sites. The titles are all there, and send us a little something. We need it. Simple as that. We need it. So, a couple of things I wanted to say. First of all, I was wanting to ask you whether you like the fact that we've gone back to, or we have for some of the time at least, gone back to a straightforward me talking to you like this situation, and away from the form that we were using where it was just a voiceover with images. The voiceover with images takes an awful lot more work, I have to say. This is easier and it's more straightforward, and now that we've got the sound and vision problem sorted out, I'm quite happy to do it this way, but I would like to hear what you think. The second thing is that I need to have a little bit of a word with some people about behaviour. Now, ad hominems are not permitted on this channel. If you ad hominem me, if you insult me personally, or even if you attack me in some way personally, then you will be banned. I have no problem with somebody disputing my arguments and saying, no, I don't agree with you. I think this. That is normal. That's what normal educated humans do. I have become aware that a significant number of people, particularly US millennials, are incapable of actually presenting an argument without resorting to ad hominems, and I will not tolerate them. Don't even think about doing it. Many of you have asked what's happened to Sam. Nothing has happened to Sam. All that's happened to Sam is that she refuses to be on video because of the number of people who go online and insult her. And they got smart early on, and they realised that if they came onto this main channel and did that, then I would ban them. So what they do now is they sneak behind my back and they go onto her channels and insult her and be offensive to her there. If you do that, if you do anything like that, then you will be banned. If you call me dude, you will be banned. There's a whole bunch of these passive-aggressive things that apparently US millennials cannot live without, that if you use them on this channel, you will be banned. I already banned a user called, I can't remember her bloody name. It doesn't matter, it's somewhere else. Today because of exactly that. Their inability to behave in a courteous and polite manner. I mean, what happened to Americans? Americans used to be famous for being polite. You know, for phrasing their thoughts in courteous ways. What happened to you? What happened? Because now what I see is a bunch of spoiled children who don't know how to behave, being let out in public and thinking that they can just get away with anything. Well, you can't, not here. Your right to free speech does not cover this channel. Not at any time. Everything here is moderated. That also applies to my websites, it applies to my Discord channels, it applies to anywhere where I have control over you. If you start the BS, I will ban you. So get used to it. You cannot do it here. Now, that leads me into another issue. Am I straight? Well, for me, straight just means, because I'm old, straight just means that you have appalling taste in music, you don't smoke pot, and you don't drop acid, right? And you probably don't like nice motorbikes either. So I question why anybody would want to be that. You know, it has no, I never bought into this gay boy thing about how they tried to make a grab for other people's language. And that's where the mandated speech thing started, by the way. That was the bunch that started it. Them and the feminists. I never bought it. I never bought it. I'm not buying it now. Am I heterosexual? Absolutely. I'm attracted to women. When I have sex, I penetrate. That's it. I'm heterosexual. That's it. Any Roman and anybody anywhere on the planet up until about 50 years ago would have said, oh, that guy's obviously heterosexual. There's no question about it. And let's be quite clear. It is the recipient in a relationship between two males who is homosexual. Right? Or if you switch, you're both homosexual. If you don't switch, only one of you is. It's that simple. So that brings me on to another thing. The word gamp. Now, gamp is a particularly ugly and nasty word, which was invented by Ray Blanchard, a man whom I admire greatly, but he has an absolute penchant for abusing Greco-Roman languages. And I do question, did he ever do a classics course himself, or does he just make it up from the dictionary? Gamp means gynandromorphophilic, right? That means that you tend to love what he calls gynandromorphophiles. And gynandromorphophile means, well, insofar as it can actually be made to mean anything in English, means men in the form of women. I don't believe that that's a fair thing to call trans women. I think it's absolutely right. You can call autogynophiles that. That's autogynophilic males. No problem. They are men in the women's dresses. They are men in the form of women. They are men presenting themselves as women. But that doesn't apply to HSTS. It doesn't apply to real transsexuals. They were boys and then they were girls. They were never men in between. They went straight from boyhood to something like girlhood. Certainly, they just never were men. So if they were never men, how could they be men in the form of women? So it's an offence to call them that. And I am certainly not going to wear this ridiculous confection of a word. There are plenty of good English words that describe what we're talking about without going into these ridiculous, absurd monstrosities of made-up words. What's wrong with trans-attracted? Do you like trans women? You're trans-attracted. It's as simple as that. Why do you need a special word? Why do you need to call them gams or gynandromorphs? They're trans women. What is wrong with that? Why do we need anything else? You know, I have always been a huge supporter of the Plain English campaign. And I've been a writer, an editor, a journalist for a bloody long time. And I have always supported that. And I'm not going to change now because a bunch of USican millennials with no manners think that, oh, you know, that's the way I talk. It's like, well, you talk that way. You go to one of the cesspits that you infest, like Reddit or one of these other disgusting holes, and you talk like that there because you ain't talking like that here. I hope I'm making myself clear. You start that crap on any of my sites, anything that I control, you're gone like that. It's instant. I don't even think about it these days. I just hit that button. You're gone. You can't comment. Your posting rights are instantly withdrawn permanently. Right? And permanently means they stay that way. And I will not have anybody shouting out about, oh, free speech, free speech, free speech. You can express any idea you like here. As long as you couch it in polite and courteous language and you actually make a case. But if you think that you can just come on and call people dude or my dude or, you know, you're actually a gamp and all the rest of it, get bloody lost because you ain't doing it here. You are not doing it here. Sam, as I said to you, she will not go on videos anymore. And we used to really enjoy making videos together. She won't do it because of you lot. You lot and your nasty, vicious behaviour. And I will not put up with it. I just won't put up with it. I've absolutely had enough of you fuckers. You know, you won't pay for the fucking quality product that you watch, and then you think it's all right to insult us, you know, in the process. I would go and get raffled. Go and take a flying fuck and a rolling donut. Because quite frankly, nobody would tolerate that. And I certainly am not going to. Why would I? Why would I tolerate your inability to behave in any kind of courteous or polite manner on areas of of communication which I control? I mean, I would be nuts to do that, and I'm not going to start. So you fuckers just remember this. If you do any of that stuff, any ad hominems, any rudeness, any passive aggression, any of that stuff, you're history. That simple. History instantly. As soon as I see it, you're gone. And you will stay gone. Now, it is true. YouTube has this really strange habit, you know, that it will save back. Because I check the comments at least once a week, usually more than that. And sometimes it will save up comments so that I don't see them. And then it dumps a whole bunch of comments, like dozens of them, all at once, sometimes going back a year, and I then have to go through them all, which happened last week. And of course, there were some there that I hadn't noticed before who were being offensive, insulting, using ad hominems and passive aggression. And of course, they were somewhat belatedly, but still banned. That's what happens. Don't do it here. Do it somewhere else. Go and play with your nasty little chums somewhere, people who don't mind the way you behave, because I do. I do. You know, the planet as a whole, most of us are really, really fed up with you, Jessica. We've had enough of you. We've had enough of your arrogance, your monstrous narcissism, the way that you think that what you think is the way everybody else should think. The way that you use the power, your economic and military power, to enforce your ideas on everyone else. Well, we have all had enough of you. We have had enough of that, right? So don't ask me to put up with it. You got a First Amendment? That's fine. This is not USica. Am I making myself clear? Even in USica, it wouldn't matter, because the First Amendment does not apply to private people. It applies to the government. Go and read the Constitution. As a matter of fact, I have, and I think that I probably know it better than most USicans, and certainly than most USican millennials, who seem to be at best, semi-educated. So that's my little rant for today. I do hope you will comment on whether or not you'll like to see my geggy mutt again. I don't care if you don't. It's very much quicker to make videos this way, but I still don't mind making some nice videos with lots of ladyboys in the background and things like that, you know, and trees and plants and flowers and whatever, but they take a lot longer. And since you're not paying for them, I'm a bit like, why bother? Why bother? You get the picture? You do, I hope, get the picture. Anyway, that's enough for this one for today. Do have fun. Enjoy yourselves. Go and have a drink. Bye-bye.